Hi, my name is RJ Hodges.
And I'm Monique Fluker.
The question at hand is, what is Born to Win? You know, about 4.5 years ago, myself, my business partner, and one of our close friends, we were all in Miami, Florida. You know, I can remember it being a very hot and rainy day in Miami. And for some odd reason, we got together and we made a decision that would forever change our lives. We made a decision to walk away from a very lucrative sales business at the time and to start a company that was solely geared toward helping people. I'm talking about helping people create a quality of life that most of us only dream about. Helping people reach some of their goals that they desire, but more importantly, showing people how to overcome those obstacles that they face every single day. How many of you guys ever had any obstacles that you wanted to overcome? That was our whole goal, and we took everything that we knew. We took all of the principles that we had learned over the years. We took our success in business, our failures. We took everything and put it in a simple system that we could now use to teach and show people how to be better at life. Because wouldn't we agree that we get a lot of education in life, but we don't get a lot of life education. We get a lot of school education, but not a lot of life education. And that's what you have before you today, our company, Born to Win. Simply put, we are an inspirational speaking and a life improvement company. The purpose of this video is to highlight one of the areas that we focus heavily on in the United States and also in the United Kingdom. That is the empowerment of our young people, our youth, because they are the future leaders of tomorrow.
As Born to Win started to grow, we noticed which group needed our attention the most, and that was our young people. So in mid-2010, I had a conversation with a couple of the teens that I mentor. These teens expressed their thoughts to me on how they felt they weren't being thoroughly heard by their parents and other adults in their lives. These teens, as well as other teens their age, feel like their parents' approach is, just do what I say. Now parents, you will agree, when you're trying to get some things done, that's the way your approach is. But we at Born to Win wanted to try a different approach. So we wanted our teens, firstly, number one, see where their parents were coming from. Secondly, we also wanted to show these teens how they can still voice their thoughts and opinions to their parents and still see the beneficial results that they were looking for. And finally, we also wanted to show them how they can still satisfy their parents of what they expected of them. And after a while, we started to see great results. Soon after, some of the parents, teachers, administrators, and youth organizers came to us saying how effective our program was. And what they wanted to start to do was to see how we can implement these principles and show other adults and other young people how to apply these principles that may be going through the same situations that these teens and parents were going through. And that's how Winning Teens were born. Winning Teens is a platform for young people where they have a voice, where they're understood, and we're able to bridge the gap with their philosophies versus the philosophies of parents and administrators. In this video, we're going to give you more information in regards to this awesome program that we have at Born to Win. Parents just don't understand. I'm quite sure many of the teens, when they saw that phrase, they nod their head in agreement, especially when they want to do things when their parents won't allow them to do. I totally understand. I felt like my parents didn't understand me when I was growing up. But I took a deeper look into that. I started to think about when they were coming up, and when I came up, we probably did some of the same things and made some of the same mistakes. But I realized what the difference was, where we were coming from two different generations, meaning that we would handle those situations differently. But the thing that I kept in mind is, even though we come from two different generations, I realized they wanted nothing but the best for me. Now, teens, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Let's just say, for instance, there's this person, special someone you want to date. Ladies, that young man that got that swag going for himself, and young men, that young lady that you just feel like she on fire, or in other words, she's fine to you, but yet your parents tell you you can't date that person. And at that point, you start to rationalize and think how you can sneak and be with that person, even though your parents told you you can't be with that individual. Or what about that party? You know you got to attend and you know it's going to be on point. You got to be in attendance to that party because your friends and everybody you know that's cool and that's in that certain crew are going to be there. And you know if you're not able to attend, they're going to joke you about it. And then they're going to throw in your face about how great that party was. But your parents tell you no. Now at that point, you're starting to think and rationalize. Or in other words, you're trying to think of a lie on how you can say you are at this person's event or at this person's house in order to get to that party. But at the same time, you know your parents told you no. We here at Born to Win totally understand. We've done it ourselves. But those questions are just a couple of topics that we speak with our winning teams as well as our mentors about how to make effective decisions and communicate effectively. Because listen, we here at Born to Win, we want you to enjoy life, and so does your parents. But teens, we want you to understand this. You have to see where your parents are coming from because they want nothing but the best for you. They are responsible for your well-being. But I know what you're saying to yourself. But this is my time. It's all about me. And you're right. It is all about you. This is the prime of your life, the time that you're able to enjoy it because you know you can't get it again. And we here at Born to Win, we want you to enjoy life. But at the same time, we want you to be creative. We want you to do new things. We want you to win at life. But simply and quite plain, the reason why the parents are the way they are, because they want you to be better than them.
You know, I remember growing up and hearing a story about a little old lady named Miss Adams. And when I was growing up, it didn't really mean much to me because, of course, I was a kid at the time. But Miss Adams was your typical woman, hard-working, raising her family, making sure everything was taken care of. Her whole goal was to work every single day, 12, 14-hour shifts, just to make sure her family had all the things that they needed, the necessities of life. You know, clothes, food, shelter, things of that nature. I'm sure all of you guys can relate to that. Well, Miss Adams, on top of working this full-time job every single day, one day she was coming home in her community and she saw this little old bookstore and they had a help wanted sign in the window. So Miss Adams went in and she asked because she worked there part-time. And the owner told her, he said, "Ma'am, I don't have a lot to pay you." And she said, "You know what? You don't have to pay me at all. All I want is to be able to take some of these used books that maybe you're about to throw out. I want to be able to take those home with me." The guy jumped at the chance. He said, "Great, you got the job. You can have all of the used books that you like." So every day, Miss Adams would get up. She would go work her 12 to 14-hour shift on her regular job. She would go to her part-time job, work all evening, and she would come home every single night with a stack of those old books. And she would bring them to her grandkids. And she would make them read those stories to her. And they didn't get it. They didn't understand. And one day, one of her grandkids walked up to her and he said, "Grandma, why do you go and work these long shifts? And then you work at this old beat-up bookstore for no money and you just bring these old books home every day?" And she looked at him in his eyes and she said, "You know why? Because I love to hear you guys read those stories to me. Simply because when I look at these books, these words mean nothing. Because I never learned to read. I only have a third-grade education. But I made a vow to myself that my kids and my grandkids, that they would be literate, that they would be educated, and they would have more opportunities than I did. Because I just want you to be better than me." And I say that now today because this story means so much to me now, because I understand as an adult, that's why we do what we do. As parents, as teachers, as administrators, even as mentors, we do all of this just so our young people can be better than us. But see, what we've discovered at Born to Win is that our young people, they don't understand that. They don't get it. So when you're telling them these things, parents, they don't understand, and it makes you frustrated to the point that sometimes you just want to grab them and shake them. I get it. But what we found out by talking to these young people, we found that there is a language barrier. And what we found out and discovered is there is a way now for us to teach young people and parents how to come together and communicate in a way that young people will understand that you're not just on their case just because, that you're doing this simply because you want them to be better than you were. You want them to overcome some of the mistakes that perhaps you made when you were growing up. That's the whole point, and that's why we're doing this at Born to Win, because we want to show you as parents what we've discovered. We want to teach you some of those language barriers so that you can properly relate to them. We can get our message across so that our young people can just be better than us.
We have given you some background information in regards to Born to Win, and we also shared a couple perspectives in regards to our Winning Teens program. Now I'm about to share with you one of our premier formulas called Stop, Think, and Decide. The way this formula works is this. First, we teach our Winning Teens how to stop when a situation arises. The second step is to think. At this point, the Winning Teens have an opportunity to take the positives and the negatives in regards to what's about to take place with making a decision. And the final step is to decide. At this point of the formula, our Winning Teens have the opportunity to make a clear and concise decision. When you add all of these factors up in this formula, you come up with making a quality decision.
Now, I know you may be saying, what is the point of teaching formulas? What's the point of giving our young people principles? Understand this, there is no way we can be with our young people 24 hours a day. Our goal at Born to Win is to show them how to think on their own, how to face tough situations when we're not around. Because parents, let's face it, your young person, they may act one way when they're with you, but when you're not there, you know they act totally different, right? So the goal of teaching Stop, Think, and Decide is to give young people something simple, something that they can now use to gauge their decision. They can now weigh the pros and cons and decide, do I want to take this path or do I want to take the path over here? And they're going to be able to now look at the outcomes of what those paths will equal. That's what Stop, Think, and Decide is all about. It's a simple formula. We're going to go more into detail about it, but understand it's very key because we've gotten some incredible feedback from our young people, not only here in the U.S., but also in the UK, about how this formula is changing their lives.
One of the tools that we created here at Born to Win is a CD series called Am I Understood from a Young Person's Perspective? The first installment is about decisions. This CD contains an interview with one of our winning teens, giving her perspective in regards to why teens make the decisions that they make. And believe me, individuals that have heard this CD, from young people to parents, teachers, administrators, and youth organizers, feel that this information is definitely something you should listen to. If you would like more information in regards to this CD and other material that we have here at Born to Win, you can visit us at our website at borntowin.com. That's BORNIIWIN.com. Or you can email us at info@borntowin.com. That's INFO@BORNIIWIN.com.